Hey everyone, it's Lupe. You may recognize me from subbing on this channel, particularly a few Wednesdays, a couple weeks back for your normal Wednesday guy, Skylar Delmar, who, as you guys saw last week, is now back. So I'm no longer subbing, but some changes are happening, and I am now officially your Tuesday guy. So it's pretty exciting for me, but today I get to do this video topless because it's extra hot in my room. More hot than usual. Like, I have air conditioner, but I don't know what's going on today. And couldn't hear me over my fan. So I had to turn my fan down, and I took my shirt off because I was sweating more than was comfortable to do this. So lucky you guys, hopefully I don't dip out. But this week's topic is stealth versus being out. And I think that this is definitely something that is really person specific. And I think that not only, your views of it, but also your environment and where you are has a lot to do with whether you can be stealth or not. But for me personally, I am still pre-testosterone, so being stealth, I don't really see that being an option for me currently. However, I don't really ever foresee myself wanting to be 100% stealth. I think that being that I am on the internet and really open about, being trans, affects that partially, and I also, I like to educate, and I can see myself advocating for the trans community, so, people would know that I am trans. I'm comfortable with that, so it's not really an issue. That could change once I'm past, 100%, but I don't really see it changing. On the same token, I don't think every person that I encounter on a daily basis needs to know that I am trans. I still think it's necessary. But as far as, environment having a lot to do with it, I mean that in that, like, if you still live where you grew up, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to, be stealth, or at least be stealth 100%. Because you are, whether you talk with people still or not, chances of you running into someone who knows you from your past and whatnot is increased tremendously. If that is your situation and you're trying to be stealth, I can wish you luck, but, you really just gotta kind of take it as it is and understand where you are. Also, is accepting and comfortable and safe as, queer communities can feel, and being in places that are really friendly towards, trans people as well as other LGBT people, I also think can make it difficult for you to be trans. And I mean this in, like, if you're pre-testosterone and you're in a really queer-friendly area or gay-friendly area, you're probably going to be perceived as a lesbian, especially if you're masculine presenting. That can change once you start testosterone and stuff, but until then, you kind of have to accept that you look like, a lot of lesbians. Or just masculine presenting females. I've had this experience, and although it's not as not as much for me because I am still pre-testosterone. So I think when people convey me as trans, they're doing it or like asking out of respect for me to not mess up my pronouns. But for example, I have a friend who lives in the Bay Area and he hasn't had surgery yet, so he doesn't have like the scars as identifying marks. He's got a full beard. He's been on testosterone for over a year, and he has, told me a few times that he's been perceived as trans, and people have, asked, and, if you're somewhere like that and you're trying to be 100% stealth and you're with a whole bunch of people that don't know that you're trans and someone reads you as trans, that could potentially, inadvertently out you. And, I know I would hope that someone would be as respectful about it as possible and maybe only say something to you if they say anything at all. We would ideally like them to not even say anything or question, but if someone does, we would hope that it's not in a way that does out you. But you have to understand that people who aren't going through what you're going through or really understand what you're going through aren't really going to know what those boundaries are, or where that respect line lays, and they don't know. A lot of people in some areas, and I speak of the Bay Area just because that's everyone knows that it's very queer friendly, but like if they know a lot of trans people, a lot of the trans guys in that area are openly trans. So this person could be used to that and out you thinking that you are also that way because somehow they read you as trans, even if you pass 100%, it's always still possible. And you can't really let that get to you. You just kind of have to bite your tongue with it because people just don't understand. I like to just assume that everyone is ignorant about it, and then that way I don't get so upset when I'm proven wrong. So, I think that that's important to know, and I think that that can definitely affect, how stealth you are. There's lots of reasons, to be stealth, or, it could be safer where you are to be stealth. And if that's the case, I just recommend that, you're really cautious and stuff about who you might tell, or, if you identify as straight and you're somewhere that's not LGBT friendly or doesn't really understand what trans is or doesn't know trans people, or, is a community that doesn't even really know what trans people are, what trans people look like. These types of people that are like that are the type of people that have a certain idea of what trans people are like, and that certain idea tends to come from stereotypes portrayed in the media and things like that. So, they're not really positive things. When you're in those types of situations, it's going to be a lot more difficult, to date and things like that. You have to be really careful who you tell, and the girl that you tell, if you're straight, could be 100% okay with it and stuff, but you need to really make sure that you can trust that person to not tell anyone. And I'm going to tell you just right now from experience, even people that I trust, with my life, I have made, said things to them that I expected, and have even said that it needs to remain, between us, and that person still tells, their best friend, and, you don't know what that you don't know if you can trust that person if you don't know that person very well and stuff. So, you just really need to be aware of your surroundings and be really aware of what you look like, because I do know a lot of guys get really upset when they're misgendered and stuff and they aren't on testosterone yet. If you don't understand that you still look female in your face and stuff to the majority of society who doesn't understand trans people, you're not going to be happy, and you're not going to be able to be happy because you're not going to allow yourself to just be able to brush stuff off. And I know it sucks, and I know it's hard, but you have to teach yourself how to do that, or you're just going to be miserable where you are. Things will change, and as you start testosterone and move on in your transition, that will get better. But you really need to be aware of yourself and who you surround yourself with and where you are. And I think that once you know those things, you will know whether or not being stealth is right for you, or if it isn't. And I will also say to, those of you out there, like, if you are openly trans on anything on the internet, like, that automatically, removes a small percentage that you can be stealth. Like, right now, like, I have YouTube, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, like, all of those, and they all say that I'm openly trans on all of them, and I talk about trans topics, not as much on Facebook, but that's partially because I have a lot of family on there, and I'd like to talk to them more personally than I do, like, on Tumblr and stuff like that, where I'm more open and want to educate other people. I don't want to just throw a whole bunch of stuff at my family who I have a different type of relationship with. So that's, my reasoning behind that. But I just think that, you really just need to understand yourself, and if you do have those types of things out there, you do need to realize that you can be recognized in public, and whether it's someone within the gay community or another trans person or not, straight, cis people do also watch these videos and stuff, because they might have friends and things, or want to learn more about it. So, if you want to be 100% stealth, then you need to make sure that your stuff or your information isn't out there for people. And if not, like, you want to be more like me, then by all means, put it out there. You'll probably hear me say this in all this, but I didn't mean for this to be that long. My videos always kind of start getting long, so I apologize, but I think that they might be worth the watch, and hopefully helpful for some. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week.